Ah, yes, it is that time of the month again, people. No, not for those reasons, I don't have the parts. No, we have another comment section Nimrod to mock. At least Douglas Murray has the balls to put his face out there, unlike this YouTuber who prefers to remain anonymous, yet spew its vitriol out there. Yes, the vitriol of let's not start a third world war, what an asshole I am. To Spoon, if you feel that strongly about Douglas Murray, why not show your face instead of hiding behind a stupid cartoon? Man, the standard of trolling really has deteriorated a lot, hasn't it? Remember when trolls were funny? Ah, yes, those were the good old days. How much of the video do you think this spastic watched before they spazzed out with this lackluster take? I would say right after the headline, but before the Uncle Ruckus interlude, which is one sentence in, mind you. Now, as far as this wanker goes, they called me an it, so I'm genderless apparently, not a human, so exactly why do I need to show my face? I could be a will-o'-the-wisp for all you friggin' know. Unless you're that much of a weasel that you're too afraid you're gonna misgender me. Apparently my voice isn't masculine enough to denote the fact that I'm male. Should I be offended? I feel like I should be offended. Oh wait, no, hold on, I'm not human, I don't have emotions. Mind you, if I'm an it so-called, how can I feel anything strongly? No would explain why they chose to put strongly in quotation marks, otherwise they make no bloody sense. Also, Douglas Murray has the balls to put his face out there. Oh yes, it takes tremendous mountains of courage and fortitude to be lockstep in line with the establishment, along with every other virtue-signaling fuckwit with the Ukrainian flag in their Twitter bio. Oh, so stunning and brave. And what is with this bollocks of showing my face? Why do I need to show my face for my opinion to matter? I mean, by that logic, you'll never read any book unless you know the face of the author. Do you apply this when you drive as well, do you? Do you see a sign that says 60? Well, I don't know, put up that sign, it's fake news, and then do 85. You didn't even address anything I said in the entire video. You just come across like some thin-skinned, limp-wristed fanboy. Seriously, I can't stand these petty tribalists. Does it ever occur to you Neanderthals that you can be against the West corrupt war machine and not be in favor of Putin or the total annihilation of Ukraine? Because it doesn't seem that these people consider that's a viable option. Our main thing is that we are not in favor of further escalating death and destruction and risk nuclear war. The thing is, I'm not even trying to be mean to anyone here. My point is simply this. For heaven's sake, can you please try and understand that there are other parts of the world that don't see things from a Western perspective? Look at the world post-World War II, right? We have two great powers. We have the West and the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union collapses, and then you have the emergence of the unipolar world order, headed by America. And Russia goes into a tailspin, both financially and culturally. So the Americas push to further envelop the world into the liberal world order, because there's no more competition, they're the sole power. And they do this by trying to get people hooked on capitalism, turn them into rampant consumers under the guise that this will cause democracy to bloom as a consequence. And this is not currently succeeding. America follows the Monroe Doctrine, with enormous egotism, mind you, thinking that it can go wherever it pleases and expands NATO. America's own statesman tells him this is going to backfire because Russia is going to perceive this as a threat and they will respond accordingly. This falls on deaf ears despite Russia repeatedly saying, we're not going to stand for this, but NATO gives them the middle finger and marches right onto their doorstep. Russia attacks, and the whole media, who assumes everyone's a historically ignorant moron, goes, oh, look at the actions of that thug Putin. And everyone who's historically clued in to this whole affair is thinking this is disingenuous and childish. The former is an extremely Western worldview and one of incredible arrogance. This whole concept of, well, anything that isn't a rapacious oligarchy masquerading as a democracy is somehow tyrannical, because that is what we actually have. That doesn't occur to these narrow-minded imperialists, because that is what those who advocate for the liberal world order are. They are neo-colonialists. It is absurd to think that you can expand a military alliance that is well obsolete for the better part of over 3 decades, right up to the old foe's border, all under the guise of, oh, this is to protect other nations, and the head of that alliance has a history of regime change, especially when that very nation already did this to one of your neighboring nations and then continues to arm them. It is just so bizarre to me, the antithetical dual consensus with regards to Putin, by people who seem to think this whole affair is a replay of Hitler, and if you appease him, he's somehow going to be emboldened and remake the Soviet Union. But he's also really incompetent, militarily weak, and he can't seem to defeat the Ukrainians even. The whole narrative is sold in the West as the beginning of an imperial conquest, as opposed to being boxed into a corner and having their options limited. Again, non-Western nations don't think like we do. They will rightly perceive this as a threat, They look at us, our greedy overconsumption, our increasing sexual degeneracy and loss of identity and feminization of society, and think, dear God, we must keep this away from us at all costs. This has destroyed their nations, and when Putin points at that, you can call it propaganda all you want, but you can't say he's wrong. People have to get out of this mindset that just because they think they hold the moral high ground, their leaders are incapable of great evil. That line of thinking is patently insane. And that is all for today. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.